In today's economy, more people than ever are looking to buy and sell businesses. But how do you do it? Welcome to the Deal Board, presented by Transworld Business Advisors. Straight talk about real deals and real people. Listen to stories, interviews, and expert advice to help your business sale, merger, or acquisition process. Now, here are your business exit experts, Andy and Jessica.
Hey, everybody. We just wanted to get together and have a special announcement. Thank you. It is 1 year that we've been with the Deal Board, and we are super excited to have a year behind us, 52 episodes. Jessica, I want to thank you. It's been a great year.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we've had so many great guests that have come on that we're really thankful for.
Yeah, we've had a lot of great subjects. We've talked about valuation. We've talked about different industries. We talked about different locations around the world. I mean, we literally have had guests from around the world.
Yeah, all over Australia, UK, France, everywhere. I mean, it's been such a fun year. We've been able to give back and talk a lot of different topics that we hope helped our listeners and help small business owners.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to a great next year. We are going to launch a new website soon, right?
Yeah, soon, very soon in the next coming weeks. We just branched into video podcasting too. So you'll see a lot more of our faces on YouTube and on the website. And we have a lot of things planned for our year 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a great year. And so join in, and here's another episode.
Transworld Business Advisors is the world's largest business brokerage and mergers and acquisitions firm with over 500 brokers in nearly 200 offices worldwide. Transworld's team handles thousands of business sales every year. To be connected with a qualified business broker or learn more about the buying and selling process, visit tworld.com/the deal board or call 888-719-9098.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the Deal Board. And today we have a great show. We interviewed a bunch of people that sold their business, and we talked about what I wish I knew. People go into this process mostly blind. They've never sold a business before. That's why we're there. But they, even when that happens and we're guiding them and we're giving them good advice, sometimes they refuse that good advice, and then they come back to us and said, "Ooh, I wish I really would have known blank." So, Jessica, we had we start off with 2 great interviews, right?
Right. And we recorded this video again at House of Pod in Denver, Colorado. And the owner, Kat Jaffee, actually joined us because she's a newer business owner and getting lots of conflicting advice about, what should I know about my exit plan? When should I start planning? So that was kind of the question that teed off this conversation with Kat, and also Alie Elman, who's a hospitality entrepreneur and really has started and exited a number of businesses in hospitality. So she kind of shared the concerns that she had and what she wished she knew going into a sale. A lot around leases and landlords, especially in the hospitality industry. But we talk about a lot of different scenarios that sellers really need to consider when pursuing a sale of their business.
Yeah, I mean, again, everybody's usually pretty green. They're good at running their business, but they're not understanding what the process is. So things like, what the right price is, what the normal terms are, whether or not they have to stay on their lease. We see all these things creep up and potentially kill deals. And even though we're telling them, sometimes there's third-party interference like landlords and accountants and CPAs and brother-in-laws and cocktail attendees at the country club over the weekend, that people talk into people's ears, and it could literally screw up a deal. But we talk about what they wish they knew as they went into this process.
Yeah, and I think listening to this show, take away the words and advice that you get from this is like how to prevent your deal from crashing, or how to prevent these deal killers in your business. And a lot of this stuff is things that you do, maybe not from day one of starting your business, but pretty early on in the process. So these are all things that you can do early on, even if you're not pursuing a sale right now, to set your business up for success in a transaction.
Yep. And again, I want to thank the House of Pod for having us. It was a wonderful place to hold your podcast or even hold a meeting, and want to encourage people that if they're out there in Denver to seek them out.
Yeah, and we'll drop their link into our show notes too. It's a great little co-working facility as well if you just need a studio like we were using. But again, we hope you enjoy this podcast. We hope you enjoy our new video format. If you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, go ahead and subscribe. But you can also join us on our YouTube channel to check out the new video portion.
Let's get to it.
Hey, Andy, you know what time I think it is? I think it's time to talk about our deal of the week.
Deal of the week.
Sold.
Hey, we're back and it's Deal of the Week and we are live at the business, and that's a unique place. And this is my partner, Tom Jones, here in Fort Lauderdale. We are on the beautiful Las Olas area of Fort Lauderdale. If you've never been down here, you have to come down. We are on the Hermershi Canal, which is home to the Riverfront Gondola Tour Company. And we sold this recently, right, Tom?
Yeah, about a month ago. This business has been in business for about 6 or 7 years here on the river. And they do narrated and unnarrated dinner cruises for both tourists and locals here. Everything from wedding anniversaries to retirement parties, all kinds of different events.
Yeah, so it was a great deal, right? So it had been in business for a long time. The owner wanted to sell, correct, and approached us?
The owner wanted an elderly woman, was in bad health. She wanted to sell the business. And we were looking for the right buyer. I asked her who she thought the right buyer would be, and she said the best buyer would be her general manager, which is Bradley.
And so Bradley wound up buying the business, and he was unsure that he had the money, but we were able to structure it for him, right?
We talked to Bradley, and we figured out that the best avenue for him was an SBA loan, and we were able to secure that for him.
Great. So SBA loan, good deals for good people. Again, the Riverfront Gondola Tours, a great little unique business, and that's what we do here at Transworld, sell all kinds of businesses.
Good deals, good people.
Good, thanks. Tom, another good deal.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And today, as you know, the topic of our show is when is it time to sell? We're joining you live from, well, not live, but all together in a studio in Denver, Colorado at the House of Pod. We also are videotaping this, so it's part of our video series. If you haven't been on our YouTube page, make sure you jump on it. It'll be in the show notes. But Andy, we've got some guests joining us today, right?
We have some great guests, and so we're very happy to have Alie with us, and you could introduce our guest from the House of Pod.
Yeah. So Kat is the president and founder of House of Pod. Kat, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about House of Pod, because we're in your space right now.
Yeah, it's so great to have you all. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Kat Jaffee, and as you mentioned, founder and president of House of Pod. We are an audio and podcasting hub here in the heart of Denver. And our mission is to create a better world through better listening. So what that means to us is leveling up people's production quality and the way that they are producing and making podcasts, but also improving the kind of content that's out there through providing more resources and access to high-end equipment, training, education, production for groups that are typically not represented in media. So we have a bit of a social justice lean. We have a partner nonprofit, and we do all kinds of things like podcast incubators and stuff like that.
And they're killing it. They're doing such a great job.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, Kat and I met through the Women on the Rise program, which pairs women entrepreneurs and a mentor-mentee relationship. So we've been working together for about a year and a half now.
Yeah, and you rule because that program is over, but you're still mentoring me.
So that's awesome.
It ended, and Jessica was like, "So when are we meeting next month?" And I was like, "Hey, I'm not going to tell you.
Recurring meeting on my schedule.
Yeah, if you're going to keep meeting with me, I'm showing up to that for sure." So I feel pretty lucky to work with you.
Oh, I feel lucky to work with you too. And then we also have Alie Elman joining us. She's a serial entrepreneur. She's been in the hospitality industry. So she's also was recently on one of our other video podcasts. So she's here to kind of chime in and add some color on what she's gone through in the sale process as well.
Yeah, because she was telling us, and you could jump right in, that you do have a lesson learned, that you did have a business that you probably should have thought about selling before it kind of crumbled on you. Or you tell the story. You tell it well.
Yeah. So I had several concepts, and I think, what happened was one of them started to take a lot more of my time. And, at that point, that would have been a good indicator for me to maybe step back and probably sell to my current partners or, think about it at least. So, because I was focused on some other concepts, I wasn't paying close enough attention to that one business. And sure enough, that's the one that ended up failing. And, it's a good lesson learned. I had a lot on my plate. I had 2 young children. So all these things are indicators, and it's okay to look at a business and say, you know what, I just don't have it in me right now. It's not a failure at all to, recognize that you might have too much on your plate.
Yeah, we've seen you brought up 2 great points that a reason to get out of business. It's a great business. It's a good idea, but you just don't have the time and bandwidth to put into it, which is fair. And the other thing is personal reasons, right? You had a couple of kids, you had other businesses. It's just something that you just don't have the time and effort to put in. And we could all agree that small businesses take time and effort, right?
Just a little bit.
And I'm still looking, and people tell me, oh, I want to buy an absentee business. And I'm like, well, when I find the pure absentee business, I'm buying it because you're not going to get to it.
I want a business that cash flows, is super profitable. I can not go into the business ever.
I never get calls from employees at midnight.
Right. It doesn't work that way. So, but, that's one of the good reasons to sell a business is, you've just gotten to the point where it's beyond you at some point, right?
Yeah. We've talked a lot about, and I think this is a good time for Kat, ask your question because you're new in business, right? What are you about 15 months in?
Yeah, year and a half.
Yeah. And you've been getting some conflicting advice of should I be preparing to sell now or right?
Well, yeah. So, I guess, okay, technically I founded House of Pod 2 years ago. We opened our doors a year and a half ago. And as an audio hub, we're kind of a podcast co-working space.
Sure.
That's what a lot of people use us for. And as you may know, there are so many co-working spaces all around town. They're opening up studios, and the studios sit kind of empty because they don't have those services, those education offerings, the things that we do as a production company that support everybody's work here in our studio.
Sure.
And so folks keep coming to me and saying, oh, it's such a missed opportunity that you're not selling your company and finding a way to work in those podcast studios that are opening up in the co-working spaces. You could be merging with, this company or that company. Why aren't you thinking about doing that? You would have all of these benefits, and they list them out. You'd be on a salary. You wouldn't be on your own anymore. Like everything that you're going through right now and these struggles, you're just completely overlooking this brand and this opportunity. And so I asked Jessica the other day if I was totally in the wrong here of trying to build all these things myself, and if I should just be considering more acquisition, because for a long time I thought, no, I've got this great space, I have this great studio, I'm going to just keep going, my route. And so I wanted to know if I was missing something.
Yeah, and I think it ties into this, when is it time to sell? And, a lot of the conversation we had is, and we've talked about this too, Andy, is that you're not usually selling for a financial reason. There's some other driver in your life that's happening. And like you brought up, some people are really good at starting companies, and they get companies started and they don't want to see through the vision of the growth and everything like that. I know that's not true for you because you're super passionate about what you do. And there's other life things that happen, right? There's families and things like that. There's risks that you may have to take your business to the next plateau or the next level. And some owners aren't willing to lay that on the line, or unable to weigh that on the line to go to the next level with the risk that's involved.
Yeah. And I think, Kat, you just being here for 5 minutes, and I haven't gotten the grand tour, and I can see you're doing a lot of different things, and you're still trying to figure out the business model. So, and of course you could sit down with someone from Transworld and we could give you an idea of what we think it would sell for. And you could weigh that against, well, really, is there an opportunity out there in the world that I would feel passionate about? And is it something that I should pivot into now? And I love the word pivot, because a lot of small business owners, especially in the beginning, you're doing a lot of different things, and you might find a vertical with saying, hey, that works. We should do that. We should go to every WeWork and every Venture X, and we should handle their studio or offer to build them a studio and manage it. And that's going to be better than us paying rent at the House of Pod and trying to do all the things that we do at the House of Pod. Or maybe that's just an add-on. Who knows? But, it's always time to sell. I was just going to say the answer to your question is yes, right? So it's always time to think about it. You always want to have that option on the table that you do have your books and records in order. You do have your leases in order. You do know where you want to go with the business. And maybe you sit down every year at the end of the year and, have a glass of your favorite beverage, whether that's water to wine, but you just decide, is this the time?
Yeah. So sometimes, an exit and getting acquired by another company is the right option for somebody, and rolling into a job and taking on some less work and less stress. Actually, I think anyone who's run a business before knows that a job actually is requiring less working hours than running your own business. Was the saying that, an entrepreneur is the only person that's willing to work 100 hours a week to avoid working 40 hours for someone else, So sometimes it's a good option.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a number of reasons why it's not something I ever had considered, but I guess the biggest surprise to me about people considering acquisitions is like, I love being my own boss. And I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm not. My clients are my boss. Like, those are the people I serve. But at the end of the day, I mean, I have a hard time imagining what it would be like to work for someone else. And so it's super daunting beyond everything else to think what it would be like to give away this thing that I love and value and believe in so much. And all of a sudden, someone else makes all of the decisions for it.
Well, the answer is you wouldn't, right? And the answer is compared to the money that you would get, and say it's a 2 or 3 multiple. And business owners always go, well, is that all I get? I wouldn't leave. I'll just stay here for 2 or 3 more years. I'm not in a rush. I love it, And my answer to them is stay and enjoy yourself. But if the opportunity outside is so incredible, and something like a public company like WeWork all of a sudden, or Venture X, comes to you and says, hey, we're going to pay you $300,000 a year. We're going to give you shares in the company. We're going to do all this kind of thing. And we're going to give you a buyout of House of Pod. And we're going to make it like one of our, the hub for, podcasting in our company. And we're just going to make it so incredible for you. And you can make your own hours and you could do whatever you want, then it's time to go. Right. And so I had another interview that we're going to do on this podcast where that's what happened. They came through the door and they just offered him everything he wanted and then some.
Sometimes, I mean, it's the right thing for the company too. Like we talk about, companies as a function of owners too, but we also have to remember that a company is, kind of a living, breathing entity. And sometimes you have to do the right thing for the company. And then on the other side, there's also warning signs. And like, Alie, you've shared a few, and I know there's some others you've seen throughout your career. There's some warning signs where it's like, it's time to go now. It's time to sell now before something negative happens and impacts the business, whether it's something spilling over from personal life or something going on in the economy.
Yeah, and not to scare business owners, because there's nothing more rewarding than running your own business, and you clearly are so passionate about it. So stay your course if that's what you want to do, and you're clearly doing a fantastic job of it. There's sometimes outside things that happen, especially in this Denver super hot market, where, someone other than your current landlord might buy the building. And so that kind of makes you pause and reassess things, which can happen, which did in my case, outside life things. But you're so early on in your business, just enjoy it. And like Andy said, build it like you're ready to sell it, so that if you did want to change your mind, you're ready to go.
Yeah, running your business is great. Like you said, you have that flexibility. You could pick any 24 hours a day you want to work. So that's what
or
we
all
always
of
say.
them.
Yeah.
So, listen, small business owners and people who want to sell their business, it is a clear and the other thing that we just want to say before we go is that when the big company comes along, and I was talking a little bit about it, but kiddingly, car dealerships, when AutoNation went around and just paid ridiculous money for your business. My friend owned a beachfront motel, a whole block of beachfront motels. And he said, Andy, they offered me 25 years of income to sell my business. It's like, when they're offering you 25 years worth of income, it's time to go, right?
You can always buy another hotel and another beach block.
Right.
Yeah.
You just take some time off, and I always give that advice to entrepreneurs. If you've been between gigs, enjoy yourself. Don't be crazy that you're not working. Just, it's time to get your life together. You don't get too many breaks in your life, between gigs. So enjoy yourself.
Well, thank you guys both for coming on the show. Kat, thank you for having us in studio. We're going to drop some links to House of Pod. If you're local to the Denver area or visiting and looking for a podcasting space, this is a great space to record your podcasts and interviews in. Yeah, it's great.
Amazing. And Alie, thank you so much for sharing your stories. It's great. Serial entrepreneurs are our best customers. We love them. And so keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Hey, Jessica, you know what time it is?
Money time?
Almost. It's time for listing of the week.
Welcome back. And today for our listing of the week, we're joined by Alex Dvorak, who is with our Transworld Denver office, who has a great restaurant opportunity for sale.
Hi guys, this week I want to tell you about a owner absentee restaurant opportunity. This business is located right on the edge of downtown, has tons of parking, and there's a lot of development going on in the area. There's 8 employees and it's been in business for 6.5 years. It's listed at $281,000 and the owner benefit is $135,000. Really great opportunity for someone to step into a well-established business with well-trained employees that are really able to run it without an owner being there every single day.
Sounds like a great listing in the restaurant industry. You don't see good multiples like that with owner absentee. So if someone wants to learn more, Alex, how can they reach you?
My phone number is 720-526-0528, and my email is alex@tworlddenver.com.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in to our show today. If you like the podcast, don't forget to subscribe through your favorite podcasting app and leave us a review. If you have questions or suggestions for the show, visit us at tworld/thedealboard or email us at thedealboard@tworld.com.